titles. And the reason for this conversation that we're about to have is because every day I'm getting messages about basketball, you know, about traveling videos, carrying, you know, Gills Arena, pick up basketball. I mean, my algorithm is crazy. That's why, you know, you dub V the algorithm menace. You know what I'm saying? And what happened is that I came across a video of Aisha Curry and Steph Curry talking. And they were talking to Michael Obama. Now, we ain't even going to get into that. But, you know, it made me say to myself after watching this video, you know what? This brother is right. The NBA is filled. Now, I already peeped it, but for him to say it made me, you know, it solidified what I was thinking, you know, and it's no different than what I said about all the European players that's popping up in the league, you know, all the African players. It's no different than what's going on in America right now. You know, they're flooding America with all these immigrants, and they're trying to make them the face of the National Basketball League, politics. I mean, in every sector that we have, they're filling them with immigrants, you know. And when it comes to the light-skinned niggas that's running the NBA from the suburbs, that's why it's getting all tendery soft. You know what I mean? And not to mention you got the European players. That's why the league is tender. That's why it done turned into a highlight reel, you know, because it ain't no Wesley Snipes niggas no more. You barely see niggas my complexion out there getting buckets. You know, and Mike was he was the face of the NBA, and that nigga, you know, looked like somebody's uh, barbecuing uncle from the South. You know, from Florida somewhere in the sun cooking. You know what I mean? But now, you know, you start to look at all the players that they highlight. I mean, look at them. They from the burbs, and they light bright out there. You know, that's the reason why the NBA is so tender. You know what I mean? You don't see no defense out there no more. You know, that's why the NBA ratings is dropping. It's because it ain't no more rivalries, right? Even if it is entertainment, it used to be a story in the league. You know, you had to overcome. It took years of pain and work that they had to put in to get over certain teams. I mean, even the way players nowadays hang out with other players from other teams is just mind-boggling. I mean, I just don't understand if we're supposed to be the best players in the world. Why would I want to play with you? I want to play against you, nigga. And listen, I'm not even in the NBA. And I was on the goddamn court about 2, 3 weeks back. It was longer than that, probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And the squad I was on, we ended up losing to a team. And one of their players from the other team we lost to, one of the niggas was like, all right, yo, you come rock with us. I was like, I don't want to play with y'all. You niggas just beat us. Like, why would I play with you niggas and I just lost to you niggas? I want to beat y'all. I don't want to play with you niggas. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is one of the reasons why the league numbers have been dropping. They try to spice it up, but the truth of the matter is that the league has become, it's like a soap opera. And not just that, you got a lot of players now getting these big deals. They don't play for 82. You know what I'm saying? These players are sitting. I remember I saw a comment about Paul George. That shit had me crying because recently, I guess they suspended him for substance abuse, right? And I think it was for like 20 something games or something like that, 25 games. And I happened to read about it. And when I seen that same report on social media, I was looking at the comments. And in the comments, somebody was like, yo, man, these players, man, they never playing, man. They talk about Paul George. They gonna sit Paul George for 25 games. They said, shit. The penalty and should be that he gotta play 25 games. You know what I'm saying? That should be that right there should be I cried because the truth of the matter is that that's another reason why the NBA is declining. I watched the young boy. I watched the play happen. What's his name? Moses Moody. The other day that got hurt. I watched that play as it was happening, and this is another reason why he is tender, in my opinion, because not only are they not playing a full season, they're not really practicing and really training and doing the proper weight training to have longevity in the league or whatever sports nowadays that a lot of these young people play in. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why you see a lot of these individuals getting hurt because they're not playing as much as we used to when we were young. When we were young, we played basketball damn near or sports all day, ran around all day. These players nowadays, they're a little bit more, I don't want to say lazy. I guess I'll say reserved. They just, they play so much that it's more scrimmage. Like, we had a lot of battles. We had a lot of old school coaches. It was a lot of different drills and workouts that they had us do. It was more about strength training when we were younger, you know what I mean? But now that the league is full of suburb niggas because they done took all the programs out the inner cities. That's another reason why the league that got light skid out this mother. Because they done took all the programs out of the inner city. It's almost as if, they want a conservative NBA. They don't want no niggas running around in the league, and that's what it looked like. Because at this point, the league it's looking like Mayberry out there, if you ask me. I'm just saying, and that's one of the reasons why the numbers are dropping. I'll watch a pickup basketball game before I watch the NBA. Unless them niggas out there shooting a bunch of threes. If they shooting a bunch of threes, that right there gonna get you canceled. I ain't trying to see. Hey, listen, I it's just something about the 3-point that just drive me crazy at this point. Now, if you got a wide open shot and we tied up, something like that, and maybe the sequence has been pretty good. We rotate the ball, we play some defense, we score inside the paint because it's always better to start in and then work your way out. If you're gonna warm up. But why warm up in the game and shoot a bunch of threes? Listen, and then if the other team, if they get 3 or 4 layups, right, and then you shoot 4 fucking 3, oh my God. This is why I ain't been playing lately. You know what I mean? Because it ain't nothing but a bunch of light skinned niggas in there that want to shoot a bunch of threes. And then it make everybody else do it because I guess it's style. I mean, right now, shooting threes, in my opinion, is a nigga just want to get some style points, in my opinion. Now, if you open and you got the open shot or it's a heat check, I get it. But if you just out there launching threes, oh my God. Yesterday they tried to get me to play. This like, hey yo, listen. If yesterday I was asked to play, and as bad as I wanted to play, I literally was just like, nah, I'm good because I just didn't. If I'm gonna play, I want to play in an organized setting, in a sense where everybody can get the ball. I mean, because basketball is no different than life. I mean, you gotta learn how to work amongst other people and use those people to advance and succeed in life. I mean, it's just that simple, but it's so many people that think that they can go out and beat 5 other people, when you got your squad sitting right there with you, niggas be wide open, niggas a dribble, don't even take the layup, go back, shoot a three. Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they can do that shit 4 or 5 times coming down. Oh no, 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 no. You ain't doing none of that. Hey yo, man, shout out to everybody that joined in, man. I ain't doing too much, about to clean up. Gotta go do some work. And I'll be free after I'm done doing that. And man, I have to say today's a good day. I don't know why you asking me, do I smoke? The only people, hey, listen, for the bots or whoever is joining my live that's talking all crazy, please, man, like, share, subscribe. I don't care nothing about that. I mean, personally, I appreciate it because you're doing nothing but helping me reach other people. And if you just joined in, I'm talking about how the league just full of light-skinned niggas from the suburbs now. And then you got the European niggas, overseas players. It's like they squeezing out the niggas from America, man. And the reason why I'm having this conversation, because like I said, I get messages every day because my social medias, I got a couple subscribers that like to send me videos, funny videos, sports videos. My son, he sends me videos. So, I I have these conversations with different people now that I'm going to the court, and it's just fun to talk about, and not just that, I have some awareness as far as what may be going on, because a lot of people not paying attention to the world. You got people that come on your live that don't even know you and just start talking crazy. You talking about contributed to society. Listen, I want to because I want to address a comment, right? Let me tell you something. If you think that I feel some type of way about, if you just join, I'm trying to explain to the hater that constantly comes on my live every time I go live, that says something to think you're going to hurt my feelings. Let me give you some information. First of all, for an individual that hasn't really, how can I say this? Because I don't want to sound like I'm taking a shot. I'll put it to you like this. I'm probably doing better than most people in the world. And I don't mean that in a sense of mentally or spiritually. I'm talking financially. I've learned how to save money and utilize the skills that I have to maintain for a long time. If you think that I'm going to listen to some liberal statement or I guess perspective of how you feel about what I need to be doing, you are insane. Because I don't give a fuck about what you think. I live my life accordingly to the way that I want to live it. You talk about contributing to society, you talking about the same society that's falling apart with all the different immigrants that they're bringing over in the United States that's literally sucking up all the resources that are being removed from the black people, the indigenous people that were here before it even got here. Are you serious? You're not talking to no fool. You're not talking to no dummy. So when you decide to jump on someone's live, even like I said, these have to be bots, in my opinion, because I choose not to believe people are this stupid. You see what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is that people really are. You know, I mean, this can translate as far as what I'm saying about the NBA. This is the reason why everything is falling apart in America because they are choosing to not acknowledge the people that helped build America. So when I come on live and I'm talking my shit and I'm just doing what I'm doing, you're talking to an individual that you can't hurt telling me that I need to be a part of a society or doing. I will guarantee that probably have more money than most of you, or if you're a real person, I'm probably doing better than you. And that's a fucking fact. So when I get people jumping on my live, if it's a bot, they're created to do that. But if it's a real person, you really have to sit down and look at your own life if you sitting here on my live telling me what I should be doing with mine. You really need to think about that. I'm trying to talk about the NBA and how it got tendery saw because they got a bunch of I'll be sure niggas out there in the league now. And, they done took all the Wesley Snipe niggas. You know what I'm saying? And all the niggas my complexion. That's why it ain't no defense in the league. That's why these niggas are scoring 140 points because they ain't got nobody out there that's going to be professionally crashing out. Because we can crash out, but you got to do it professionally. I ain't talking about hurt nobody on purpose. No. It's a level that you can go to where it's healthy and it's competition. I remember when I recently somebody hit me in the head as we was hooping. And they was like, yo, my bad, my bad. I was like, yo, stop saying my bad. I was like, bruh, I know you didn't mean it. Like, god damn, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm looking for a little bit of contact to get the bucket. You know what I mean? It's just like, you touch some of these motherfuckers nowadays, they call it foul. And then a lot of them, you don't even got to put your hands on them. They'll do all this work, bump into you and shit, and then they'll try to shoot a J, watch it, miss, and then call foul. You be like, nigga, you was bumping into me. I didn't touch you. But, I guess you being as though that we got the internet, you can't hide this shit now. So we starting to get an influx of individuals like myself that's starting to call this shit out. Because, listen, when you're talking to somebody that have fucked up and made mistakes and bad choices, at the time I didn't think they was bad choices, but hey, man, it's like, what you think you can get over on me? I'm not this perfect person trying to tell you what, how to do some shit. And what I think, mother, I didn't trip, fall, stumble, got back up so many times. And not only that, I had to learn lessons because I chose to not pay attention to the patterns and the things that I was, and maybe I did need to deal with it. Maybe I did need to go through those things. But at the same time, I mean, shit, I'm not here to sit here and try to look like I'm almighty. I'm trying to tell y'all what I think and what y'all should avoid and how you need to use your skills, your training, and whatever you have, that passion, that desire, you better get some discipline and you better do it now. You can get on here and talk all this bullshit about what I need to be doing. I'm damn near 50. I've damn near been on earth a half a century. If you anything under 35, you might want to talk to me in 10, 20 years. You see what I'm saying? I got you beat already. You talking about what I need to do in society. What Eminem say? I'm 28. They gonna take you for they take me. They didn't. They even though they up. I guess they said that they done up the recruiting for like the military, the age. Guess what? They still ain't gonna be able to get me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm damn near a half a century out this bitch. So what I can contribute to society is information, knowledge, wisdom. You dumb fuck. I don't have to go out here and try to dance with the stars and be like you young dummies that think that you can watch social media and then all of a sudden you can do exactly what you see someone on social media do. When I was coming up, like for example, this is being different. You all, cause all you young is damn near do the same thing. I'm talking about all of y'all. Y'all all dick riders. Y'all all bandwagon hoppers. Y'all all follow the same trends. Y'all all talk the same. Twin, gang. Y'all, when I was coming up, different states had different slang. When I was coming up, when I came to Georgia in '98, they was saying shit like slang that I didn't understand. And I was saying shit that they didn't understand. Now, you got niggas from every state because of the internet talking the same. I still talk the same way since back in 2000 because that's how I came up. I still say whack and this nigga and that ain't shit. And man, please, and shit like that. You, even the broads talk the same. And you gonna tell me what I need to contribute to society? I'm contributing it right now. I'm trying to tell young people, stop being a goddamn fool. Stop being a fucking idiot. And this NBA shit talking is just for shits and giggles. But when you got people coming on alive and they trying to disrupt it, telling you what you, because the bots, like I said, they just add to the flavor, But if it's a real person and you really watching this and you writing whatever bullshit you writing, you really need to think about your own life. You watch it. I don't care if you at work. I don't care about what you're doing. If you join, please like, share, subscribe, hang out with your boy. Because I would just talk about how the NBA out there, right, with because the truth of the matter is, it's a fact. It went from the rec leagues and the YMCA and hood and the street league and the street ballers, which was the best players in the world, might I add. The basketball players from the streets back in the day from New York and all these, like California. I mean, I'm pretty sure that every state had a street hooper, that could have played in the NBA. But it was players back that, in the day they ain't playing the NBA. You heard Wesley Snipes on White Man Can't Jump. He was like, man, I can't. He was like, man, he said, Michael Jordan came down here, he said, gave him some work. He said, yo, man, you need to get in the league. He said, nah, shit might hurt my game. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So that's all, man. And I ain't mean to go on the slide, but that's how you do when you talking shit. You know what I mean? Because I don't understand like I said, we're gonna say it again, because the comprehension level of a lot of adults out there, they don't have it. So I want to say it again. I started doing this live to talk about why the NBA is going downhill. First of all, all the betting is coming out that they out there scamming and rigging games, which we all knew they've been doing that for a long time. It's just that after 2014-15, this is when you started seeing a huge decline in the NBA. It looked like it may have, the league looked like it was in good care, as far as the players that were maturing, like KD, Steph, James Harden, you got Paul George. It was a lot of different players that were maturing. Kawhi Leonard, it's the Westbrook. Man, I can go on and on and on, but the point that I'm trying to make is the league definitely looked like it was in good hands. But when they assisted Steph Curry with those championships, because that's just how I feel. I don't want to hear it. They wanted to give it to San Francisco because Steph Curry was one of the light-skinned niggas. All the niggas that have dominated the league, they've been my complexion. You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact. Michael Jordan, Kobe, Kevin Garnett, just name. If we gonna name the best players, they dark skinned. They brown complexion and darker. That's just the best players that ever played in the league. They my complexion. There's some light skin. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying why we can't see that they filling the league up with tenderism out there. Ain't no but tenderloin. And I ain't saying light-skinned niggas is soft. That's not what I'm saying. Because I know it'd be a light-skinned nigga out there that want to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? Want to get at me. I'm not saying that, because light-skinned niggas some of the craziest niggas on earth, because they got to prove that they'll put that work in. Nah, I don't want no smoke. I'm saying that the league is saturated, man. It ain't. Hey, man, I don't know what's going on, man. But since we have it's a lot of people out here that didn't make it to the league. And the league is scripted now. So there are players that probably should be in the NBA that probably will never make it because the league is scripted. They want certain people in the league. It's become political. It's about politics, man. It's about that money. And like I said, it's getting flooded with European players. It's not even a American league anymore. You know what I mean? Like how they'll have us play against, like when it comes to like the Dream Team, the Olympics, and they have us play other other countries. It's like we're not even playing. Like how are we going to beat other countries if we're not strengthening and developing the players from America? You're giving all the resources to the players that come from other countries to play in the National Basketball League. It's like dealing with a spy. It's like dealing with a splinter cell. Okay, because they train over in their own country. Some of these players been playing professionally since they were 14, 15, 16 years old. And then they come over here, play in the NBA. Some of them become stars, right? And that takes a spot from a player from over here, right? A good player, and then you less likely to develop that player the way that you're developing the European player, right? And now when you have the Olympics, how are we supposed to compete? You see what I'm saying? If we got a bunch of, and I'm not, because to make it to the NBA, you have to be able to play. So I'm not calling the guys on the bench a nobody. I'm not calling because you got the stars, you're supposed to have the superstars, the stars, and the role players. Now, what we gonna send a bunch of role players to the Olympics? That's what we doing. You see what I'm saying? So all this shit is strategic, but at the same time, it's another. This is something else that you can look at and see how they're weakening America. And that's just another topic too. But at the same time, that's what they're doing. It's just like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So that's just my take. And that's how I feel, the NBA done got tender. It ain't nothing but a bunch of Bell Biv DeVoe niggas out there. Mixed in with a bunch of European players. They starting to highlight Asian players now. And this is not, please don't say I'm racist. Please don't say I'm prejudiced. This has nothing to do with that. This is about how they are using they're segregating American players and people, right in front of our eyes, and we don't see how we're being disenfranchised right in front of our eyes, in every sector. And that's a part of the, reason why I wanted to have this conversation. I mean, we just don't see it, man. And I think people are starting to cause, have a little bit of outrage, but I'm trying to keep it sports, man, because if I start going there, I'm just going to get on a whole nother conversation. So like I said, to the subscriber or the individual that is jumping in my live being negative, if this is really a real person, they're like, I mean this, you really typing or you really texting, I really want you to think about this. If you sitting there taking your time out to listen to me and I'm a nobody, what does that make you? Because let me tell you something. I don't sit around and watch lives. You know what I mean? Unless I'm chilling and I have absolutely nothing to do. You see what I'm saying? So if you think that you're making me feel some type of way, I'm fine. But don't think that you're going to make me feel. Believe me, I've contributed to society enough, and I'm gonna continue to do it because that's what I do. You ask yourself, what are you giving to society? What? You get up and go work and make somebody else money? What? Please tell the people, what do you do to contribute to society? Please, tag me in that video. I love y'all, man. We're gonna try to figure out how we gonna get some dark skin back in the NBA, man. All right, we're going. I don't know, man. It might be time for a new league, man. Because the truth of the matter is that they sending all the brothers overseas. You know what I mean? They did that to Stephon Marbury. Even though, with the way I think, in my mind, I'm like, well, they did that to help the build and develop the programs over there so we can get to where we at now. That's my opinion. If I think about it, I'm gonna be like, because Stephon Marbury was that dude. I mean, cook, like, get your apron out, get your cooking spoon, your seasonings, and let that brother, do whatever he wanted in the kitchen. Stephon Marbury cook. So I just didn't understand why he left the league. He was that dude. Now, I guess they tried to say it was his attitude and all that, but they could have found somewhere to put him. That was the truth, So, in my opinion, it's politics. They use Marbury, to help enhance the programs, and he was a resource. He was beneficial to what they were trying to build over there, and that was going to help them, like I said, do what they're trying to do or have done now. So that's my opinion, man. Hey, man, y'all, whatever you think is what you is, and hey, it is what it is. I'm out here, man. Love y'all.